sprinter extraordinary, 100, 200, 1960s, record holder. Doctor.
Emeritus.
Emeritus. Thank you.
Emeritus.
But it comes from a very long-standing family of athletes. So all these are legends. We've got two jumpers. Ziguang, triple jump, 1965, ridiculous. This record still stands. And it's also an award-winning architect, by the way. So any of the budding architects, mentoring, this and that. And who is even more ridiculous is Chu long jump. 1965, 1960 long jump record.
Still there.
That's crazy.
Still there, no?
Yeah, I know he's still there. And he's also the editor of our Echo magazine, so be nice to write that as well. And then,
put in context, he jumped 6.77 at B-diff in 1960. Current B-diff record in national schools, 6.79. So it's 6.77 in 1960.
I think he jumped so he can do it now.
And finally, okay, Dr. Tan Sri and Jegathesan. I would like to say that there's very little to introduce, but let me try to summarize a few things. Okay. We all know that he has always been called a flying doctor because he runs so fast. But what a lot of people don't realize, okay, actually, listen, you were saying the 1,500, that's amazing. Would you like to repeat that? Then I continue. Would you like to repeat that?
But let me tell you that Jega didn't start off as a 100-meter runner. When I was running, and I'm about 7-8 years his junior, the first 1,500-meter record I broke in Bukit Timah district was his record.
1,500.
So he started off as a 1,500-meter runner, and I was just telling him that I once saw him run. I was 15 years old. 16 in 1966. He ran in the Farrer Park All-Comers meet. He wasn't even planning to run the event. He just went and ran 400 meters, just like that. And he ran 46.3, just like that. And he was training for 100 meters at that time. He just went and ran. And I was watching him and I couldn't believe it. It was such, I always tell him he can win many medals in 100, but that race, that 46.3 has always been in my mind. Just like that. That's Jega for you. And on top of that, many of you may not know, not only is he probably the best athlete ACS has ever produced, in the 60s, in the whole of Singapore, I know this must be very unusual to all of you. In the whole of Singapore, when you have your O-levels, you might get 2 people or 3 people in the whole of Singapore who get 8 A's for their O-levels. He's one of them. He's not only an athlete, he was a Xiao Poleng medalist. So, he's really an amazing person.
Okay, I was saying that as a flying doctor, but a lot of people wouldn't know that he's also a scholar. And I was just about to say that he was, he was the recipient of the Xiao Poleng medalist. And as a doctor, he majored in microbiology, infectious diseases, served on numerous boards, national and international. Malaysian rep to the WHO. I think he was the chairman of the anti-doping, council for the ASEAN, the Olympics. Deputy chairman for the Malaysian Olympics Council. He was also the chairman of the medical board in Malaysia. Honored by Malaysia 5 times, or now is it 6? Tan Sri is 6. Knighted and honored by the 6 times. So now it's the Tan Sri. Now that is his non-sporting achievements. Sporting achievements, let me just repeat, I'll condense it to really, really very small. 1962, ASEAN gold medalist. 1966, ASEAN gold medalist 3 times. 100, 200, 4x1. 64, 68, Olympic semi-finalist. What else is there to say? That's me.
you very much. Actually, all of you look so young. I'm from prehistoric times. In fact, when I came to Singapore, I was born in Malaya at that time, and my sister was getting married to a Singaporean, and my mother didn't want to look after me anymore. So she packed me off with my sister. I was a little bit bigger than Ryan.
Right.
When I first came. So then my brother-in-law says, I have to put you in a school. So he rang up his friends and he says, hey, which school shall I send him? Which are the... so his friends, you know what they told him? They said, in Singapore there are only 2 schools. ACS and the rest. So, so I came, and of course I went to ACS and walked into Form 2A and spent the next couple of years in ACS, and that was the biggest step in my life. It completely changed my life, and anything that I am today, I owe it very much to the foundation, to the caring teaching of the teachers like Mr. Wan and all the other teachers as well. And what I have today is due to the ACS, because it gave me the environment both for my sporting as well as my academic career. And they encouraged me all along the way, and supportive. And I think without that, none of this would have been possible. So I would like to say that, you all are very lucky to be associated with ACS, because as I said, it's only ACS and the rest. Now, when I first came in here, there was such a strong atmosphere of athletic endeavor in the school already, I mean, we were winning the combined schools championships, and it so happened that even after I started running, and my first 2 years were quite frustrating, because every time I tried to run, there were 2 fellas I couldn't beat. They're sitting here now. Victor and Teklong. They used to beat me, So finally I worked with it, and then made it. So, but at the same time, we were winning the combined schools, or the athletic championships, and we won it 7 times in a row, without a break, until everybody got tired and they cancelled it. And they introduced what you call the inter-district. So what, Bukit Timah. So that was the end of the athletic championships, So anyway, from there, we went on to national level, international levels, and so on. But the fact remains, as somebody says, you can take the person out of ACS, but you cannot take ACS out of the person. So it is something that is very hard to actually replace. It becomes part of you, and it becomes part of your extra, everything that you are, is molded and built. And I think all of us sitting in this room will understand this and be very grateful for this. So I think that was an opportunity I really had, and I consider that as one of my lucky points in my life, And so I went on from there, and as you know, the rest is history. So I think I will not prolong the.
You want to hear all your stories?
Right. So what? Basically, as explained, I had my identity card and birth certificates and so on from Malaya and Malaysia and so on. So when it came to international competitions, there were some rules. So to fit in with the rules, I had to. Although I was an ACS student, I was representing Malaya and Malaysia later. And I went to the SEA Games, Olympic Games, and Asian Games. Asian Games was after I left the school. So that was part of history as to Malaysia, Singapore. And at one time when Singapore was part of Malaysia, I represented Singapore in all the inter-state competitions, and in Seremban, as well as in 1965 was a very dramatic year, because on August the 7th of 1965, Singapore hosted the national championship, and I was elected the captain of the Singapore team and asked to take the oath, as well as they brought the king of the time, the Agong, to come and declare open, and I was the one who shouted Daulat Tuanku, you know. Louder than everybody else. And then the fun and game started. 2 days later, all hell broke loose. Your Prime Minister, some of you will remember him, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. He was crying on TV because Singapore was. I cried more than him actually. Because my life also was going to be disrupted, So it so happened that after that I had to go back and represent, because there are rules about international representation and so on, so which I had to comply with, and so that is the rest of history, So then I went on to win the Asian Games gold medal on 2 occasions, 62, 66, representing Malaysia, and then went on to Olympic Games semi-finals. After that, I continued with my specialization in medicine and running in parallel, working with anti-doping issues. And we were the first few people to introduce the drug testing in Malaya and Singapore and all that at that time. And now, of course, you read about it all the time. But those were the early beginning years when we introduced all the systems. So with that, I became chairman of the anti-doping for the Asian Games and the Commonwealth Games, which I did for about 15 years, all of which I have retired from now, And most significantly, I'm very happy here today because, of the hospitality that you have rendered
for them.
I know, and you've been so kind to us and to remember us and so on. It is really very touching. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
My colleagues will agree with me. Really important is to see all these young faces. Everybody keeps talking about 70. What they're not admitting is we're really nearly 80. And looking at you all, my God, we've got a long way to come. But we were there once before. Okay? So this is your turn now. The world belongs to you. Alright, so it's up to you to go there and take anything that you want. And once you set up your mind, make up your mind what you want to do. Don't forget to dream. There's nothing wrong with dreaming. And every day you can dream to be the world champion, you can dream to be the house champion, you can dream to be the top scholar, anything you want. Feel free to dream. But what is important, don't just stop dreaming. You must convert your dream into goals. And once you got goals, you work a plan. And then make your plan work. And everything will come true. And that is how you must shape your life and how you plan it and how you will achieve what you want to be. Because every one of you has got a special talent. It's up to you to discover it and to exploit it to the fullest. And you can be anything you want. So if I can motivate you to believe that, then I think my evening here has been, useful. Alright, so with that, I wish you all the very best in your future endeavors. And what is most important is never forget, okay? Never forget, ACS forever. Yeah.